Well, I mean, we know what we're talking about. We know what
Which one?
cultural misfits is. We know that it's going to be about misfits and not
Yes.
fitting in, right?
Yes.
And yeah, we know that already. And I was talking to somebody about it today, actually. And I mean, because I said cultural misfits, and the person knows that I'm obviously I'm black in the UK, and that, you know, my friend, because most of my friends here know that I have this friend called Solani in the US.
They do, huh?
Well, you know, she's my best friend, so, you know. Which is something I realized recently, that I don't know if I've ever said this to you, that I realized that you're my best friend.
It's kind of weird about that. How do you define a best friend? Because I've never really...
I don't think about best friends exactly.
Yeah,
I've never
right?
thought about the best friend. But then I thought, if I was going to say, who is the friend that I have that is the best of my friends? And the only one name came to mind.
And it's kind of weird because I know you have, you know, good friends. So how did I make that list? I'm not trying to, you know, undermine my importance in your life. You know, you're important to me. I know I'm important to you. But how did I make it up that list? Is that did I creep my way into it? Because again, thinking
you definitely
about
crept your way into it.
Who did I kill to get to this spot? Was I slaying your friends along the way, and then I emerged like best friends?
I think so. That would explain all the people that stopped being my friend. You probably went and had conversations with them.
Okay, first of all, are we recording? Is this recording? Did you say yes to recording on your end?
Yes, I did.
Oh, so we're actually having a conversation. Oh my goodness. Okay. Hi there. Welcome to the More Sibyl podcast. This is a podcast for Blacks, Asians, and those who love them. I am Mo, and I am your host, ready to spark your curiosity as I take you on this adventurous ride of exploring cultures through the stories of my guests from all over the world. On this show, we get really personal, discussing salient issues that are relevant to our contemporary age and also building community around them. As our guests exercise courage and vulnerability in sharing their life's experiences, we hope that in turn you are inspired by them and that you get the courage needed to set your own stories free. Enjoy the ride, and thank you so much for listening.
If you want to delete it later, you can.
I don't think I want to do it. I think it's so organic because I didn't even know we're recording. Usually it's to tell me recording in progress, but it's just what it is. So I think it's a good segue into talking about our relationship, right? And welcome everybody. That was even unexpected. On the show today, which you're gonna be seeing a lot of him, is my very good friend, Doc Ayomide. How do you want me to address? I know you have
best friend. I thought we just said.
Oh, geez.
Actually, to be honest, I don't know if I'm your best friend, which is fine.
No. You know how. So how does it work? How does best friend work? Because I would let you know this. Ever since I was little, when you are supposed to feel those little things that have you feel like favorite food, favorite best friend column was always empty because I really didn't understand who to put there. I felt like I have this many people in my life that I care about and we're having good relationships and all. Who's that one person you want to put on that list?
For me, it was more like you have to have friends to say you have a best friend.
I do have friends, right? So, and again, when you put someone as your best friend, do you want to check in with them and be like, hey, are you sure you're putting my name on your list as well? Does it go both ways? What do you think?
I don't think it has to be mutual. Although, actually, to be fair, I feel like people expect it to be mutual, but I feel like that doesn't make any sense. Like even friendships, I feel like there are people who can consider themselves your friend and you don't consider them your friend. And usually, you don't let them know that because it's probably not going to be helpful information.
But that's why I draw the line. If I'm calling you a friend and don't call me a friend, then what's the point of it?
I get that, but I'm saying, do you really not have people in your life? I feel like most people will relate to this who consider themselves your friend. Well, probably not most people, but I feel like a good amount of people will relate. I don't know if you have any such people, but do you have people like that?
No, if you don't consider me your friend, I'm not going to consider you my friend.
I'm saying the other way around.
That they consider me their friend, but I'm not their friend?
you don't think of, like for you, like,
yes.
Exactly.
If you put me in that position of power,
There
yes.
you
Of course, yes. It's like, I'm still getting to know you. Oh, you know what spoke to me out? I had this friend who, I'm not going to mention the country she's from because, she's the only person from that country and people in my circle would know. She called me her best friend and we've only had like very minimal interaction. And I thought that was very heavy, but I just chucked it down to, language, differences and, communication style. But I just took it like she saw me as a very close sister because I was teaching her English and whatnot. But I just felt best friend, like I've only had like 4 interactions with you. So again, what does best friend mean to you?
To me,
and
particularly,
you just use it just, flippantly, best friend, best. Okay.
You know me enough to know there's no way I would say that flippantly.
I know, but I just want to ask.
I feel like you're fishing. I feel like you're fishing here a little bit.
No, I'm not. How dare I? Like, no, I'm not. I just want to know, like, what your process is like. What do you classify as a best friend?
Quick segue. The way you said, no, I'm not, just now, reminded me of. Have you ever seen BoJack Horseman?
No, I haven't. Of course, Will Arnett. Are you kidding me? Will Arnett, are you kidding me?
Oh, wait. Okay, whatever. Fine. Here's the thing. You know when he says, when he goes, what?
He's lying. Yeah. It's like when you catch someone's hand in the jar of cookies. Yeah. I like that skit.
That is one of my favorite responses to like anything. It's like, what? But people don't always get it, so
I get it. Okay.
So yeah, that's what that sounded like when you were like, what do you mean I'm fishing?
I wasn't fishing, but
it was like you going, what?
Anyway, so what does best friend mean to you? Like, what's your operational definition of that phrase or that term?
I don't know what it means. So okay, let me start what I think people mean by it when they say best friend. I think what they mean is something like, oh, this person that is like, they get you, and you can tell them anything, and like your life and their life are basically just very intertwined, I guess.
Yeah.
And actually, so maybe this is why I started thinking of you that way, was because everything I've just said would apply to you. But I didn't realize that. I didn't even know how I got to thinking about it. Oh, I think I know why. I think it was one of those conversations where I was talking to another friend.
Yeah.
So, like, you come up a lot in my conversations, right? Because we have a lot of conversations. We talk a lot, and every now and then I will reference something you said.
Oh, really?
Right? Mm-hmm.
Oh,
get out of here! Get out of here!
Okay, now that was me fishing. Okay.
I'll reference something you said, and I'll be like, oh, but then because I want to see who said it, then I'll give a bit of background. Like, oh, one of my friends said this. Yeah. One of my friends said that. I think one of my friends, and this is another very good friend that I have here in the UK. I think one of them was like, I have this friend, and this is actually one of my very good friends, this person I'm about to talk about, who has a bad habit of name dropping her friends, and it's annoying.
You don't do that?
No. So I don't name drop my friends. I reference my friends. But like this person will say, oh, so John said, and I'll be like, hold up. You can't have to say John in a conversation.
You don't know who John is.
Like, you're not talking about Tom Cruise or like J-Lo or like John is like, it's not Zendaya. It's like, you can't just say John. It's like, do you get what I mean? It's like, like regular English. You're supposed to say a before you come and say, so the boy came. You can't just start with the boy came when you establish there was a boy.
There was a boy, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And she does it all the time. And it's not just me, like all her friends, or not all her friends, but a number of her friends have picked her up on this, right?
Yeah.
She just like, just throw a name in there. Oh, so that's how, Tosin and Robert decided to come to my house, and then told me, hold up, I don't even know who Tosin. Have you mentioned Tosin? So like initially you'd be like, is it that she mentioned it to me before and I can't remember? You know, that's what I used to think. But then I realized, no, she never mentioned it to me before. She just did that thing again. So I don't do that. And then after I referred to you a few times, she was like, what's this person's name? Like, I'm sure they have a name. I was like, well, because I'm not like you. I just randomly. So like most of my friends know you as my friend in the US.
The whole of the continent, well, not North America. It's that one friend in the US. I'm very honored.
Yeah, you know how like Mommy Akure, you're like,
US. Yeah, Shodi. Mommy Keto, yeah. Mommy Satellite Town, that's another one.
Yeah, exactly. So like, you're like, alright, US. You know, but yeah, obviously I have other friends in the US, but like when I refer to my friend in the US, I'm probably referring to this one person.
Okay.
So that's how most of them know you. But then maybe sometimes I'll be, so like I've shown a few people you know that picture you sent me of your laptop with all the stickers?
Oh yeah, my stickers, yeah.
So I showed it to a few people. So I one of the people I showed it to was someone who was thinking like I had too many stickers. I was like, I have too many stickers. I have too many stickers. Let me show you who has too many stickers. And then I'll be like, and just so you know, this is a professor of pharmacy.
The more colors, the better. That's how I see the world.
So like, I'm not crazy or anything.
Wait, I'm the crazier one. Okay. For those that we've lost in this conversation, let's just do an introduction of who we are. For those joining us for the very first time, welcome. This is just a place to have some lighthearted conversation. And today I have who's going to be featuring a lot on the podcast, by the way. If you haven't caught up yet, check out the previous episode in this season 5. So I'd like for him to formally introduce himself. All right, Dr. Ayomide Adebayo, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and just who you are and what are you doing on the podcast?
Well, hi everyone. I hate to introduce myself because I never know what to say. So obviously I'm very bad at it. But I'm Ayomide. I'm Doc Ayomide everywhere online. And I'm a medical doctor, psychiatrist, which is basically what I've done all my medical career is psychiatry, except for the 1 year when I worked in private clinic in Victoria Island, Lagos. I don't know why I said that. And I write as well. I write essays and a newsletter, which has been on, which is a whole other story that maybe we'll talk about someday. And
definitely.
And yeah, I'm friends with Tolani. We've been friends for what?
18 years.
15 years. Oh,
18.
Oh. All right.
2004.
We're gonna have to talk about how you calculated that.
I did.
I keep trying to think about it. I'm like, I know it's more than 15 years.
18, 2004.
Wow.
When I go to there,
have we been friends longer than you were alive when we met?
Aha!
Or have I just aged you by saying that?
Don't put me in your age category. We both know you're checking a different box on that, okay?
No, what I mean is that have I made it possible for people to calculate your age by saying that?
It's okay. They probably know my age because I talk about that a lot.
Anyway, yeah, that's interesting. Actually, I was once introduced to someone, and they said how long they'd been working somewhere, and I was like, wow, you've been working there longer than I've been alive. I meant it as a good thing, but I don't think they saw it as a good thing.
Yeah. It depends on just your distance as far as relationship. So yes, this is Ayomide, my very good friend. We met in college actually, and I don't know if you remember. My first memory of you was definitely in the fellowship that I went to, CFG. So shout out to CFG Christian Fellowship Group, which was a Christian fellowship on campus. And you always would just have like chit chat after, I think after every, like my Thursday night, I'll just see you just hanging around. But you always with Chiamaka, and Chiamaka and I were roommates. So again, shout out
to Chiamaka. Like I was jobless.
No, you weren't jobless. You were just,
Just hanging around.
You're tall, you stand about, like you're easily spotted in a crowd. But there was one thing you made a compliment one time about my dressing. You're like, you have a funky sense of like, you have a funky taste in dress, something like that. I remember I had to go look up the word. Like, I know what funky means, but I wanted to be sure that it was really a compliment. And the way I subsumed it was that, okay, this is actually paying me a compliment. And you'll pick up on my dressing style every now and then, which I related to it to be unconventional, but in a cute way. And it kind of stayed with me. And then the more we talked, the more we realized that we had some things in common, like C.S. Lewis. And when I went through all of that existential crisis in college, you were that one person I knew that I could talk to about stuff. And even if there was judgment needed, you still said in a very delicate way, and you're always very thoughtful. And you made me ask questions and think deep. Like, I'll come to you with questions, I'll leave with more questions. But it wasn't in that unsatisfying way. It was still a way to kind of explore the world around me. And you're one of those few people that I would say has really informed my process, especially about mental health and understanding more of stuff. Like, I catch myself sometimes not trying to diagnose things around me, because I know that if I'm doing it to be said, are you sure that's OCD? That's not OCD. That's just something else.
Your middle voice is judging.
It's always there. Yeah, it's always there. So, I don't know how to describe it, but you've really informed, and I think I've told you many times, you've informed my creative process as well. And some other things which, with time on the podcast, people get to hear. But yes, you're on top of my list. Like, you're just that one person that I know that I can always come to talk about anything, because you listen well, and you help ask the difficult questions. Not always the answers to those questions, but you help people. You just kind of tease stuff out, So yeah, that's who you are to me. And we've been friends for 18 years.
Wow. So our friendship is basically able to vote now and drive.
And drive, yes. I was thinking about that while I was doing the shoes this morning. 18 years, but it doesn't seem like that, because it wasn't we kept talking for 18 years. If not for the internet and technology, I don't think we'll still be friends. I don't know. Yeah. Because one of us sucks at keeping in touch. And it's not me, but you wanted to say something, and I think I kind of cut you short.
Yeah, well, I was going to say that you said it was the internet and technology, and I was like, and you?
Well, I was just trying to say that, but I didn't want to took my own horn, So in case you guys are not seeing, I'm actually flipping my hair for that compliment, because of that compliment. But go ahead, please.
No, that's just what I was going to say, like, just and you, because, we may talk about this at some point. Like, I don't feel like, I've not always felt like I'm very good at being a friend. I still struggle with that, actually. Some of it is sort of difficulties growing up. I know that. Some of it is genuine, like, I'm actually a good friend.
Yeah.
The main thing I wanted to say now was, you definitely put in the work in many ways, because you would often, like, we had lots of periods of not talking for
silent years. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we definitely had silent years. Well, not really silent years, because we still always had that January 1 thing.
Yes, you call. Yes,
even in the silent years. And I don't know who started that one. Actually,
you did.
I think it was you.
You did.
Was it you?
Was it me?
I can't remember.
I think we met one time at CCC, like the crossover night.
Yeah.
Remember? Yeah, and I think
it me that they started looking for you after that, or was it you that was looking for me?
I think so. I think we just always found ourselves. So
right.
I mean,
but then there was a point it became deliberate.
It became deliberate, and I remember you just said, "This is something I want to keep doing." So like, he's always the first person that calls, like, on New Year's Day, and he will say Happy New Year, and then we'll have a conversation. And I really look forward to those moments. And there was time you used to send a message. Remember on Christmas Day?
Yeah.
I know you don't do that
Christmas
anymore, but there was one part, and I had to check my Google Keep Notes. Like, your curated message, it wasn't really the Merry Christmas. It was very deliberate, which I really, really liked. So anyways, I miss those ones, but I miss the text, but I was still settle for the phone call.
I still want to come back to those texts, actually. But yeah, that was let me that's a whole other story.
Yes, let me backpedal a little bit. So there was, I think, between, and I might be very rough in the years, between 2011 and 2015, weren't keeping in touch as much, but I kept finding you in the sense that then BlackBerry was still in use, research and motion. And I would find you and, say hi and say hello. And I think there was one time you kept saying, you still remember me? Like almost like you were shocked that I was still keeping in touch. And do you want to know why I kept in touch with you, even despite how you sucked at keeping in touch? Because you really mattered. You really mattered to me. Like, and even I'm someone that I have some people that will be like, this is not who Tolan is, because I don't chase friends. I've always had this, and I'm not trying to blow my horn. I've always had people around me as friends, and sometimes I get kind of like used to just having people around me. But you're one of those people that I know that, despite my brain telling me, why you always try to keep in touch with this person? They don't even call you back, they don't text you back, And then there wasn't WhatsApp, so there was no way of you just doing that quick, back-to-back messaging. But it's very important to me because even before the internet became a thing that made communication this, abundant, it was the years of without the internet. It was the conversations we had. And the most impactful one for me was when we met up in Ibadan. And I was having a crisis.
I will never forget that.
Yes.
Actually.
That to me was a turning point. Like, wherever this guy is, I'll always want to have him in my life because there's just nobody quite like you. In the way you helped me and I think that was the moment I was either going to just permanently crash and make some horrible decisions, or just come out of the funk that I was in. And I want to just say, by you just listening to me and just helping me tease out stuff, because I told you things I wouldn't have told anybody, and I shared a lot of my struggles with you. And you listened, and you helped me keep thinking about, observing my behavior around, certain triggers and all that. And to me, that was the point that I realized that, okay, I owe this guy not my life in that sense, but this is a very good person. This is a very good person. You could have taken advantage or just said something to kind of make me feel good and just patted me on my merry way. And I knew you were a quality person, and I couldn't just afford not to have you as far as connecting with you. So I took the honors on myself, even at the cost of self-pride. Like, when you're just texting somebody and they're not like always keeping in touch. I have these two calls. When I call you twice, you don't return my call, I'm done. Like, but for you, it was like, I'm gonna keep doing that. I'm glad it paid off.
Did I not respond? I'm curious. Was I?
You were not the one initiating the conversations and the
no, definitely, yeah, definitely.
Yes. You would respond, but I was always the one, and it took like 3 months. And I remember then I was in grad school, which the first 2 years were really tough because trying to settle into grad school, and even in the craziness of things, and I was also in newlywed and so many things going on, I still wanted to chat with Ayomide. Like, why is this guy? And you are not very, you're still not that kind of person on Facebook. You have some people that you can go on their Facebook page and catch up on them. There was no sight of Ayomide, and then you hadn't started your Truth Hunter blog then, so there was no way to actually get in touch with you.
When was this?
This was 2011, between 2011 and 2013.
Oh, right.
Yes. And I remember the times I would call you was usually, because I have this memory palace, again, don't judge me, where when I get to certain spots, I link that spot to a particular person.
Absolutely.
And for you, it was for you, I have a friend, every time I go to my dentist, when I call her, because, that's her spot right there. And I always remember her, so I have to call her. I have another friend who's in the shower, not because of anything kinky. It's just her memory palace. And I've told her this, and she was laughing at me. For you, it was by the canal, which I have to walk through like every 2 days because I had classes very close to the alumni center, and there was a canal that had a little bridge with some flowers, and that was just what every time I passed I thought about Ayomide, and sometimes I'll text you or maybe just call you. So yeah, it meant a lot to me really, because you're a quality person, and that's, I'm gonna just stop for now and maybe hear you say something. No, you're a good friend. In case you're always trying, and I know it's always gonna be that struggle, the same way I struggle with just feeling worthy at times. Maybe it's just all part of the human experience. But for all it's worth, it wasn't just a flash in the pan. You're a good friend. You're a great friend. You're a damn good friend. Damn it. So that's
I knew you were going to do that.
Yes.
No, we can talk about that actually at some point, but maybe not today because it's the whole thing.
Yes.
But I think one of the things I was thinking about recently was how, so like you kind of hinted at this earlier when you were talking just now. And that's the fact that when we first met, I think you were like a junior sister to me. That's how I knew you and your friend, right? Which is how I met you guys. Like, you guys were younger than me, obviously, in age. You were younger. You were junior in class, right? I'd been in school for, I think there was 2 years between us.
Yes.
Was it 2 or 3? It was 2.
2, yes.
Yeah, although somehow you finished before me or finished around the same time.
Oh, no. Yeah, you finished before me. Just shortly before me.
Right. Yeah, because you had a 5-year course. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I finished with I was set, yeah.
Right, yeah. So, all of that, and this was the period in my life when I was just becoming social and just sort of getting to interact with people. Because I was very shy and all of that. Like, I was the complete opposite of you. I was very shy, very sort of reserved, and I had just started sort of reach out and connect with people more. And I was, yeah, so, and I was very, because I was in that school fellowship and there was all these younger people always coming in, and sort of started to think of it as like, how can I be like a big brother to these people? Well, not a big brother, to be honest, like a brother. But then you ended up becoming like a big brother, because what would happen again and again was they would sort of interact with me in that way. And then I realized, somehow I have become a big brother to these people. So it wasn't really like, there wasn't any real intention of becoming a big brother. But I realized that was what was happening. I didn't realize that in school. I think I realized that really after school. Like, to me, I was like their brother, their sister, like their friend. It was really just being a friend. But I realized it was sort of like that big brother thing. And, I think that happened for a while. Right? Even up until like the whole Ibadan thing. Right? I know even then you sort of saw me as like big brother. But I think for me, by that point, by the Ibadan thing, I remember being excited to see you again, because I hadn't seen you for a while. And it was like just excited. I'm like, I'm going to see my friend. And this was a friend that I really enjoyed hanging out with. Yeah, and then we talked, and then you traveled, because that was also before you traveled. And I think that was the last time we saw before you traveled. And we actually haven't seen since.
No, really, that's true. I haven't seen you like oh my God, 11 years.
That was 2011.
11. Jeez Louise, it doesn't even feel like that, because we chat like almost every day.
Yeah, right. And so that was then, and but
we
then
need to
kept
fix
in
this
touch.
soon.
Yes, we need to.
Yeah.
We need to.
And
then, and then, but for me, there was that evolution, and then because after that, you then started reaching out more. Because for a lot of my friendships, when that sort of thing happened, we ended up sort of drifting apart a little bit. But then you would reach out and you reach out and you reach out. And then I had a couple of difficult years in between as well, which obviously you know about. You didn't know that then, but you knew about that,
Yeah, slowly,
And which obviously didn't excuse my not reaching out, but it was just like my thing. And then obviously the other thing is, again, which you also didn't know, is when I have difficult times, I tend to isolate.
Oh, you don't say.
Shocking.
Tell me more.
Right? And then I would sort of just, and I'm trying to get better at that, but I would, sort of withdraw into myself, and just isolate and totally just, not reach out to anyone. And I think you were one of those first friends I got to know who started learning to recognize that, because for me, that was coming from a history of feeling like nobody really cared and nobody was really interested. Not like nobody cared, but like nobody wanted to know your emotional struggles.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like, just get on with it, man. That sort of thing. Like, who has time for your drama? You know what I mean?
Which is kind of weird that you say that by yourself, because that's not who you are to others. If anything, you're that one person who's really interested in, invested in, the other person's emotional strength and struggles. Yeah,
so because of that period of my life when I started making different shifts, right?
Yeah.
But also, it was also because I think it was that started it. But I think I leaned more into it because I realized, as someone who's experienced it, I realized how much it matters. I think, to do that for people. Because I remember even when I started reaching out to people, I would never forget one particular instance. And this particular incident, I will never forget because it really, and I think it's now I realize how much it helped me. I remember there was this friend that I'd been connecting with. And like, she would always talk to me about like what was going on with her, blah, blah, blah. And I remember one day I was trying to talk about how I was struggling. And then she was like, she didn't say this exactly, but was like, what? And, and I remember trying to be like, I tried to sort of break through, like, no, seriously, I'm serious. I was just like, no, come on, not you. And after a couple of tries, I remember thinking, yep, you're just not that person. You're not allowed to have problems. Right? And it hurts. But I remember, like, I still stayed in that place of like, if you have problems, go ahead, talk to me, I will listen.
Yeah, but for her, you couldn't.
I clearly am not going to be able to share things with you.
With her.
And I think I had that experience a few times. This was like the one I remember the most. But it wasn't just that person. I had that experience a few times with people. And I remember also when the point in my life when I started to try and remember people's birthdays and I connect to people and try and remember their birthdays.
You save them as their phone numbers, right?
I got that idea from a friend, Ola, who you remember.
Oh yeah.
Because he always remember people's birthdays, and I was like, "How do you do it?" And he told me how he did it, and so I decided to start doing it. And and when I developed my system, I went and checked with him like, "Oh, this is my system for trying to remember." And I remember he said, "But they won't remember yours." And by then, I'd been through enough of that sort of thing to realize, this is how it rolls. Like, you make a decision to do this and you live with it, but don't expect it back.
Yeah, from people. I can see how that can be a good idea, a good thing to like settle down, but I can also imagine how you might preclude yourself from just being surprised, Yeah,
exactly.
By other people.
And looking back, because I think if you remember this particular, I don't know how well you know this particular friend, right? Okay. That I just mentioned. I didn't do that thing of like, well, I'm not going to open up to you if you don't open up to me. Like, I didn't put those conditions on things. And I feel like that's what you did for me. You did that as well. You were that friend who helped me feel like she takes me as the kind of friend that I am. Right, which is like, I'm not the best. Like and that this is one of the things that. So this one led to the damn good friend thing, like which I've told you about. But like, let me just say that was like, I remember like I had this conversation with my therapist, and I was like, I've come to realize that I don't feel like I'm the best of friends, but I know that I have something to offer in friendship.
Yeah, and
it's something that I think for some people set up expectations that I can't necessarily meet, and not everyone is okay with that. But for those who are willing to accept the friendship I have to offer, I've come to realize that I can be a pretty good friend,
a damn good friend.
And that's not to justify my feelings or my defects, right? It's just to say it's like I don't know. I think the way I come to think of it now is it's like not an acquired taste. Acquired taste is not the word. But it's like, I think that there's some things I have to. No, I feel like there's some things I have to offer in friendship that I've come to realize that many people don't get in their friendships. But then there's a lot of things that people expect in their friendships that I don't have to give.
So, I think that's what makes you a very good friend. You see what I'm trying to say? Yes, but that's what makes you a very good friend, because it's you meeting people where they are and knowing that this is all I can give. And what's that saying? What's saying that that's not how friendship should be? It's like mentoring.
Exactly. So that's the thing. Exactly. So like, if you're looking for like classic friendship, I tend to suck.
Because you're not a classic. Sorry, I want to say you're not a classic person, but I'm like, that's a this. No, it's kind of like mentoring. So as someone in my early career professor and all that, you still learn that you have to identify who a mentor is, who a sponsor is, who a coach is, And if you're trying to fit a sponsor into the role of a mentor, you're gonna, be sorely disappointed because they might not be able to give what you need. So have as many mentors for different aspects of your life is the same way I kind of see friendship, right?
Yeah, exactly. But I think the thing is actually, so saying it now, this will be the first time I'm saying it publicly. I've said it to you before actually, but I don't think I've said it publicly before.
What is it? What is it?
What I've just said.
Oh, I see.
You know it. You know that.
Yeah.
But it's not something I've said publicly before. And I think the reason why I've not said it publicly is because even I am aware that there's a sense in which it sounds, what's the word now? I'm looking for a word. It sounds pretentious a little bit.
Without
you know
a context.
It sounds, I'm aware that it sounds a bit pretentious, a bit self-aggrandizing, I think.
I don't think so, because you've given us the context, which anyone in their right sense of mind be able to put things together.
Yeah. But there's no sense of there's no sense of pretension in it for me. Like when I say defect, I'm not saying that like to be modest.
Yeah, his guys is really defective.
And I laugh, but I'm not proud of them. And there are defects that I've worked on and tried to get better at.
But why do you think you're the only one with coming? Like,
no.
We all have our defects, right?
Yeah, but like one of my favorite sayings is this saying from C.S. Lewis about what's C.S. Lewis? I can't
friendship.
remember.
Like friendship is when people meet and say you too.
No, not that one. Not that one. This is a more obscure one. That one is a popular one. This one is something more along the lines of not judging. And then somebody else also says this in a more succinct way than Lewis does. But something along the lines of not judging people for sins that you have no temptation to.
Oh, I see.
And we all do it, don't we? Like, if you see the things people tend to condemn most, there are things that personally they themselves have no inclination in that direction. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So for instance, someone might condemn gambling in a very strong way when actually there's nothing in them that is moved in that direction.
Yeah.
So like, of course, it's easy to say.
Yeah.
But you find that people tend to be a lot more compassionate about the vices that they themselves struggle with, or even to defend those vices sometimes. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's something I think a lot about like remembering to have that sense of compassion. Like, yeah, maybe you don't steal, and so of course you've never thought of stealing. You never occurred to you to steal, and so the idea of someone stealing sounds like this horrible thing to you. But then think about, because I think that for all of us, we have things that we struggle with that people don't necessarily get.
Yep.
And so use that to empathize with the ones that you don't struggle with. Do you know what I mean? Use that thing that you struggle with that other people don't struggle with. And I be more judgmental about. And I think everybody has something like that. Some people are lucky and maybe like all their vices are common vices. I don't know. I'm sure there are some people like that.
Thank you.
But I think for many people there's that sense, and I think that's something I think about a lot of. But I think that one of the things I've struggled with is that some of the things where I feel like I'm deficient are things that I think people just seem not to understand, which is strange to me because I don't think they are that undeficient. So I think some of it is also like, I don't know.
Yeah. I think before we go, let's tackle two things. What do you think makes our friendship work? And going forward on the podcast, like what's the goal for having you as a recurring co-host on the podcast? So I think the first question would be, I think you already alluded to that, but I think what makes our friendship work is definitely being vulnerable. And once you've trusted the person to know that, you know what, there's a history of you've told them things about you and it's been handled in a very good and holistic way. So there's that trust and vulnerability. Like I think I've joked about it. Like you know where all the bodies are buried and I know where all your bodies are buried and all that. But I think it's just the trust and vulnerability. And then tons of jokes, like memes and links, and just feeding off of the person's interest. And I think because of we have so many interests that kind of like collide, culture, tech, even though I don't like Apple and all that, but and then current events and
everyone
history.
has their defects.
I know, especially you, right? And so I think just finding things that this person would like, oh, check this thing out. I saw something that I think you'll read, or send this link and all that. So it's that,
or those things that nobody else, you can't share with anybody else.
Exactly, but then we get it. Like sometimes I think we've said things that are a little bit explicit, but you don't have to be like, oh, I don't want her to judge me because I'm sending her. But I can read through the explicit stuff and go straight to the joke, to the heart of the matter. And like two things that make our friendship work. Definitely trusting you, and I know it goes both ways. And then just finding ways to feed the other person's curiosity. How about you?
Well, I mean, yeah. When you said what makes our friendship work, first thing that came to my mind was Friends.
Which is yet to watch, by the way. I don't have a friend. Does not like Android. Wouldn't watch Friends. Took him like how many years to watch Afterlife, which we still have to talk about, by the way.
Yes, we need to do an episode on Afterlife, actually.
Yes.
You just got me distracted. Oh,
what make our friendship work?
I think. Well, one of it is what I've already said, which is you, right? No, seriously, I'm not even saying that because you're here, which is probably a good reason to not say it. But yeah, it's. I think you've. I think you're I'm very I think I'm very grateful for your patience, actually, and your acceptance, and yes, I know I accept you too, but I feel like.
I accept you too. How mighty big of you.
Yeah, I'm very magnanimous. but yeah, your acceptance of me is huge. And I was gonna say you have no idea how huge it is, but I think you do. So yeah.
You've said it many times, even though it doesn't seem, which is weird, because I'm sure people listen to it be like, I don't think Tala is always that way. It's just something about you. You make accepting you easy. I'll say that because
I don't think so, but
my patience is. I'm not very good for my patience.
We can agree to disagree on that.
Okay, that's okay.
But yeah, so there's that. But then I think also, some of the stuff you said is obviously we connect on a lot of levels. We share a lot of humor. I think we share a lot of our senses of humor.
You're an enabler, that's it.
Sorry?
You're an enabler, jokes that nobody else will get. I come to everything.
We're basically codependent.
We're codependent, yeah. That's it. That's what makes our friendship. In fact, we can just call it a wrap, yes.
Because I think right from Medilag, that was something that it was that quirkiness, right? That quirkiness I think that I found fascinating. That, which obviously was in your dress. But it was not limited to your dress, right? Was not just in how you dress, but the way you dress was one way that made it obvious, and it wasn't just the way you dress; it was little things. It was your choices of jewelry, it was all those sort of little things. The colors you picked, right? But then and then obviously when we became friends, finding out also the way you think about things,
yeah.
The fact that there are opinions I can talk about with you that I can't talk about other people.
Yeah.
Because they are not those half-formed opinions that I think I'm onto something here, but the stage I am at with it is not something I can say out loud.
I know. Without fear of being condemned, right? Even when you condemn, that it's coming from a place of understanding.
But I think we all have those things where you are walking through something and you're still in process. And it's if you show anybody at this stage, you're just gonna look like crap. Yes. And when I say crap, I mean the stuff in the toilet.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
And that you're not done yet. So it's like food. It's like how some people don't like amala, right? There are a lot of people who don't like amala because they've seen amala being made. And it's just a rule. You should never let anyone see amala being made who has not had a chance to love Amala first. Because if you ever see Amala being made, it's over.
Yeah. It's done. It's kind of like quickly.
Yeah, like there are some things you shouldn't see being made. And I think some ideas are like that. There are some ideas that you can't show everyone those ideas when they are being made, because before they are made, they look like horrible ideas. But actually, they're just ideas on their way to being shaped and being formed. And sometimes when you get to the end, you can see how it makes sense, because now you figured out what you're trying to say and think. But like, there's not many people that you can share that on the road process with, and you're one of those friends. But yeah, the humor is as well, for sure. And then it's funny because like we're both like, we like some quirky things, but like not necessarily the same quirky things.
No, yeah.
And a friend of mine said something recently, that the best friends to talk with are those friends that you agree enough that you can talk endlessly, but you disagree enough that you can debate forever.
Oh, I love that quote. Still in it. Yes. I mean, we can get on like sometimes petty things and then just make like a whole lecture out of it. I imagine somebody just looking at our chat like, are these people serious? Like, are they still arguing on this? But I think that's what makes whatever really beautiful. And thanks for putting it that way. I think finally, we'll be just moving forward on the podcast. I think bringing you on the show was something that it wasn't like a flash in the pan idea. Oh, actually, it started like a flash in the pan idea, but it was very thoughtful and organically done in the sense that it's meaningful for me to have you on the podcast, and I couldn't have just done it with just anybody. So for those listening, I am is going to be a steady staple on the show, and during that time, we'll just explore a lot about being a cultural misfit. Wherever you might be, say you're an immigrant or you identify as a particular thing or you're struggling with something else. Our goal is to come together and bring our experiences and talk about those issues that we feel like we've always had that sense of otherness, and not as a way to kind of, put ourselves down, but just to explore how these differences have shaped and peculiarities have shaped our experiences, both lived and, otherwise. So, I don't know if you had a quick, what to say about that, and we can just wrap it up.
I mean, to be honest, I just feel like this is basically us carrying on our conversations
from that chat, right?
Well, just like, because not just our chat, like, we always have these conversations about just everything.
I know, and nothing.
And I feel like we've not had them so much recently because you've been very occupied with our producer.
Yeah.
That's just how we're going to refer to her now.
Yes, the producer.
Very occupied with our beloved producer.
Yes.
and obviously, I've also been occupied with a bunch of things on my end.
Yeah.
And both of us have also had a lot of challenges that we've been going through. Mm-hmm. I don't know if we're going to talk about that.
Not even considering the distance as well, like the time, the geographical.
No, I don't think the distance is so much of a problem. The time zone difference, yes.
Yes.
But I think
that's what I meant by geographical distance.
Right. Okay. Yeah. But I think it's more just everything that's been going on for both of us has made it difficult to because I realized that we still have times when we talk, but a lot of our conversations now has been like asynchronous, hasn't it? So I feel like for me, which is fine, like it's fine. That's life, right? Like
it's a season, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Things change, situations change. And we're not yet retired and they have all the time in the world. But yeah, I feel like this is a chance to sort of have those conversations again. Yeah. Or like, now have them in public and have them with other people. And
forever on the internet. Whew. The anxiety, which we should, there's so much we could talk about. So anyways, this is it, guys. And I'm there. I know it's going to be a hell of a ride having you on the show. And I cannot even wait to explore more topics with you. And I told one of my...
Have we told them what we're going to be talking about? Sorry.
Well, yeah. They'll find out. Don't worry. They'll find out in the next episode. But just a little bit of a teaser will be everything we've just talked about today. Just talking about stuff, nothing and everything. I've reached out to Mr. Kenny and his wife Tutu, who are one of our top supporters on the show, and because it means a lot to always carry them along. And I told them about you, and they were like, "Oh, this should be fun." And then one of the couple now said, "Oh, just another doctor we need on the show. But can you guys just not make it too sciencey? You science people and your nerdy talk." So I'm gonna have that at the back of my mind that even in our conversations, I know we might have a tendency to lose other people who might not be, inclined. We'll just think about ways to not cater to everybody's needs because we're not like jollof rice or Jesus, but we can find ways to at least bring the conversation home so we don't get lost in our own excitement and exuberance. But just a quick tip would be a quick rundown of things we'll be talking about. It's almost everything that we're interested in. So culture, definitely, which is really, really big. Our lived experiences being Nigerian in the diaspora, our faith, and how it intersects with everything we do. We've always had, I think in talking to him, I realized that it's okay not to feel like you belong somewhere. And I've always carried that feeling along, even as a child. But he's one of those people that has helped me be okay with that. Not like sitting in that space and being like, oh yeah, I'm different from you guys, I'm better than you guys. It's just being okay with that and just finding your own people. And I think C.S. Lewis says this, but when he says friendship is born at that moment when one person says to another, "What? You too?" I thought I was the only one. Well, once I met Ayomide and became friends, I realized that I wasn't the only one. And I know for you also listening, you probably have an Ayomide in your life. And we can't even wait to hear, about your friendship as well in the comment section or wherever you get this podcast on. Well, for now on this has been the episode with the inaugural episode with Ayomide, and we look forward to having you guys listen to us from now on. And thank you so much for joining us today. Ayomide, thanks a lot. And any final words? This was fun. This was fun. We need to come up with a catchphrase. Which
What do you mean? Any final words? There's no final words in Jesus' name.
Oh my God, that's the Nigerian in you. All right, guys. Don't forget to catch on the episode, the More Sibyl podcast, wherever you listen to your show on. This has been Mo and
Ayomide.
Bye. Oh wow! Stop. Okay.